Group B because it is Bangladesh versus Afghanistan, a rivalry not in any sarcastic terms, not in any disrespectful terms, a rivalry that is fast emerging into one of the most, you may say, unpredictable ones.
Yeah, I mean, you'd remember that earlier this year, in fact, Afghanistan had toured Bangladesh for an ODI series and won.
Yes. And in the World Cup, if you look at it, it was Shakib's brilliance in 2019 that ensured Afghanistan could not win. I think he took 5 wickets into 50, if I'm not mistaken. So, Bangladesh versus Afghanistan, the stakes are very, very high today. If Bangladesh lose, they are out of the Asia Cup.
Correct.
Because their loss to Sri Lanka by 5 wickets meant that they now have to win this game and hope that Afghanistan do not pull off a miracle like how they did in the ODI series that both of them played together it was about last month, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So, the stake is very high. If Bangladesh beat Afghanistan, then Bangladesh will have to hope Sri Lanka beats Afghanistan so that both their passages are through. And remember, Afghanistan's net run rate, Bangladesh should beat them by a significant margin. So that the net run rate factor is also taken care of. But what can I say about Bangladesh? Forever they look like they could beat any opponent on the given day, but they failed to flatter. I mean, when was the last time they won an ODI in the Asia Cup? You have to go back to Pakistan. Pakistan versus Bangladesh in 2018. Since then, beat any format, they have not won a single match. They lost all the games in 2022. That no ball in that game against Sri Lanka meant that yes, they suffered an anticlimactic exit. And now in Lahore, it's Bangladesh versus Afghanistan.
I mean, on the bright side, considering the fact that the match is in Lahore, it means no rain threat whatsoever.
Literally the bright side that you said. Because in retrospect, you look at it, all the games should have been held in Pakistan.
You would have had no rain threat whatsoever. None.
Yep. And remember, the weather for Colombo and for Palakele tomorrow. And
it's grim. It's grim.
Very grim.
It's grim.
And the retreating monsoon, congratulations. Thank you so much, India, that you wanted to play all your matches in Sri Lanka. All the other teams will travel. You don't have to get to travel, but you want to ensure that rain has the final say. Thank you very, very much indeed. So we're just about a few minutes away from the toss, and I think the toss
In fact, toss will be taking place now itself.
Yeah, I think it is. It has happened, and Bangladesh have won the toss, and whether they'll choose to bat or bowl, let's see.
I think considering the way Lahore plays, they might just look to bat or might chase actually.
Because if you saw because we didn't get any indication from the Nepal game because
it was very one-sided.
Yeah, it became slower. It assisted swing, but remember, Bangladesh's bowlers are, let's be very honest, a notch below Pakistan's pace bowling quartet.
Several notches. Let's be fair. I mean, I know that you've got a Taskin there who's been much improved, a Shariful much improved. But again, Mustafizur not the same force. Obviously, they're missing someone like an Ibadat.
Ibadat, yes. Remember, Ibadat is out of not just the Asia Cup, but for the World Cup also. And that is why it is a big, big, big issue that they have. So they have opted to bat.
Again, I don't think it's that much of a surprise because normally I think it'll get worse. If you go by last match, it will get a little worse to bat on thereafter, and therefore maybe that's why they chose to bat.
But remember, this is the first match that's going to take place in Lahore, isn't it? This is in Lahore.
Oh yeah, correct. That was Multan.
That was Multan. Yes, Lahore will be hosting the first Asia Cup match.
So Lahore traditionally, correct me if I'm wrong, the pitches do tend to play a lot more through.
It is a bit more slower, if I may have to. It is flat. It does become a slow, low turner towards the fag.
Maybe that's why I think they've gone for the extra spinner because what was his, they had a debutant as well.
Shamim Hussain.
Exactly, it was Shamim Hussain who it's been confirmed that he will in fact be making his debut, and he's an off-spin bowling all-rounder. More of a batter, but will give them some overs.
Hails from Chandpur, plays for Chattogram in the domestic fixtures in Bangladesh there. So Shamim is there. Shamim Hussain, Shakib Al Hassan, Mehdi is also there.
Both the Mehdis, potentially.
Oh boy. So you got off-spin.
Sorry, no, both the Mehdi Hassans.
Both the Mehdi Hassans, very clear. So there is 2 off-spinners, 1 left arm, no wrist spinner.
They don't have a wrist spinner because again, even both the Mehdis are off spinners.
Yeah.
Which is very weird considering we keep talking about the fact that modern day ODI cricket, off spinners don't play that much of a role. They have potentially 3.
And maybe looking at the nature of this wicket, maybe you will pack your team with spinners.
So I think that's why then you might see Mahedi Hassan, the second Mehdi Hassan, get dropped.
Mahedi or the Mehdi who hurt us against...
No, that's Mehdi Hassan Miraz. And Miraz, considering the fact is also an all-rounder, might actually, be playing to give their
Oh.
batting some depth. Let's see. We'll have the team
Yep.
soon enough.
So it looks a good wicket. Shakib has said if we will bat first, it looks like a good wicket. And keeping the weather in mind, it is very hot. We have 3 changes from the match that they played against Sri Lanka. We didn't execute with the bat, and that was our downfall. But today is a new day and good wicket. Hopefully, put up a good score. Hashmatullah Shahidi also, who's the Afghanistan skipper, he said we would have batted first as well. Quite excited. We have a lot of crowd and supporters here. We had a series against Pakistan and we have been here for the last 1 week. Wow. I mean,
And look at their bowling options. Only two seam all-rounders, 1 full-time seamer, and 3 spinners. And I think the 3 spinners will probably be the same 3 spinners who were playing in the...
yeah, Rashid, Noor.
No,
wasn't
Noor
there.
didn't play. That's the thing. It'll probably be Rashid, Mujib, and maybe Nabi, being the 3rd spinner.
Yikes. Why are they not picking Noor?
Because they have such an embarrassment of riches in spin.
Yeah, I mean, see, Mujib is your mystery spinner. Rashid is a leg spinner. Nabi is your off spinner.
So actually, you're covered in all bases.
Noor could have been the left arm.
Exactly. Imagine if you had 4 spinners operating like that, and
Wow.
4 of all types. So an off spinner, a leg spinner, a left arm Chinaman, and an off spinner / mystery spinner. Crazy.
Wow. I
Crazy.
mean,
That is range.
today we are going to see overs been just done in a jiffy
Like that.
because spinners will bowl very quickly. And we know that Afghanistan and their spin attack, Bangladesh and their spin attack, they can be lethal. And on this Lahore wicket at the Gaddafi Stadium here, it could prove to be a bit of a handful for all of them. We're just waiting for the team sheets to come because it will be a very important match, as I said, for both. If Afghanistan beat Bangladesh, Bangladesh are out of the Asia Cup. If Bangladesh beat Afghanistan,
Then they're still in with a
they're
chance.
still in with a chance, provided Sri Lanka beat Afghanistan.
Exactly.
But if Sri Lanka loses to Afghanistan, or if in that sense, at that time, the whole group is wide open because you can have 2 teams on 2 points. One will definitely go to 4 depending upon the result of this. I am telling you, it's going to be a big, big problem. But
And remember, the other group, which is Group B, actually has 3...
Group A.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Group A has 3 teams, truth be told, that you could see any 2 of them make it. Like at least, with...
we know Pakistan and India are making it.
Yeah, because I'm barring a major upset, Nepal aren't making it. It'll have to be like, again, Ireland versus England
Yeah.
in the T20 World Cup.
Imagine if Nepal beat India, then India are out. If India beat Nepal, simple. We will have India versus Pakistan again on September 10th. So that is why it's going to be a big, big task for them. But again, here I really feel for Bangladesh and for Sri Lanka also because they are always in the tougher group. If you look at it, India gets the easier group. India is totally like, okay, well, let's.
Will be against Pakistan and the other
that's
teams.
it.
And the
And
qualifier.
then we won't travel much.
And the qualifier.
We won't travel much. All our things are stacked in our favor, but yet we do not do well whatsoever. And that is why now we'll come to that situation. And one of our family members did point out that, yeah, feel for Bangladesh that they are in a tough group every single time. So, yeah. But
Them,
that's the
Sri
luck of the
Lanka,
draw.
even Afghanistan, what draw? There is no draw.
And let me tell you, in the T20 World Cup, Sri Lanka were in a much tougher group as compared to India. India somehow made it. Sri Lanka, on the other hand, they had to face Australia, they had to face England, they had to face, I think there was one more team that was very tough, New Zealand. That was a pretty tough group. And 2021 was the group of death.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because in 2021, Australia, South Africa, England, West Indies, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. Imagine that was your strength. So in India, simple. They had to only beat New Zealand and Pakistan.
Or
They failed.
Pakistan. They could have to beat
Yeah.
in either or circumstance because the other group matches were against like Namibia, Scotland, and
Oh, yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
So, all you had to do was beat either one of New Zealand or Pakistan and through, and well, you ended up losing to both, which pretty much put your, campaign down in the dust before it really even got underway.
Yep.
But enough about that. Let's see if we've got, we have team sheets yet?
No, we don't have the team sheets yet. We are
unfortunate.
just waiting for it. But yeah, looking at Afghanistan's performances, last 5 matches, they have lost 4 of them and they have won only 1. So they'll
Yeah.
head into this match with very low confidence. Bangladesh, inconsistent, lost 3, won 2, and it continues their inconsistent trend. In a T20 a year, you remember in the build-up, they did well in the bilaterals, but then they failed. Here, they don't seem to be doing well in bilaterals also. So that is why it is going to be a big problem that we are facing at this time. So
Yeah, but Afghanistan, though, I think recently, unfortunately, they've also been hit or miss because again, they had that good series against Bangladesh, away
Bangladesh,
from home. You're
yeah.
thinking, okay, maybe they've turned a corner. Unfortunately, ended up losing, 3-0 to Pakistan.
3-0. They could have very well won it 2-1.
They could have, and as far as sports fan says, Ibrahim Zadran, their only key batter, disagree. I would say that Ibrahim Zadran and Ramanullah Gurbaz are the only key batters.
Bazigar, yes.
Gurbaz and them are the only ones, and unfortunately, both of them are openers. Their
Yeah.
middle order really lacks some firepower.
I mean, there was a Rahmat Shah, but then unfortunately he's also had a dip in form. So that's why the middle order. I mean, the pitch report says that the surface will get slower
That's
as the
why
ball
you
gets
picked
older. And
to-
Afghanistan
yeah.
have 3 spinners, which will be an advantage. Surface will be baked under the sun, and should aid the spinners in a big way. So Lahore typically towards the night time and all becomes a lot more slower. And the first session, if you get to bat well, you capitalize on it simply. That's the way you look at it. So Lahore at the Gaddafi Stadium, you're going to see 3 matches been held there, 1 Super 4 game. After that, from 9th onwards, all will happen in Colombo. And by the way, the weather is not good. You look at North India and Pakistan in particular, it is bone dry.
Yeah, right.
Bone dry, and that is why the decision to play in Sri Lanka really begs the question: why?
I mean, even if you had to come up with a different venue, surely you could have done better than that. Because again, we know that beforehand, and this was, there were news reports that had come about that the plan initially was, in fact, let's say, to play all of the matches in Colombo. But they had to actually abandon that plan due to the very simple fact that they realized that no. If you play matches in Colombo at this point, the rain is crazy.
Yep.
And unfortunately for them, they've also ended up getting plenty of rains in Palakkale as well.
as
So and this the forecast is not improving even a little bit.
Yep. So this is Afghanistan's playing 11 that is out.
Oh,
so
finally.
there is Rahmanullah Gurbaz, Ibrahim Zadran, Rahmat Shah, Hashmatullah Shahidi, Najibullah Zadran, Mohammad Nabi, Gulbadin Naib, Karim Janat, Rashid Khan, Fazal Haq Faruqi, Mujibur Rahman.
This is Gulbadin Naib. That Gulbadin Naib,
Yes.
the former captain Gulbadin Naib.
Yes.
Dear God.
The former captain Gulbadin Naib, who is.
Well, I mean,
in
to
the-
be fair, he does give you a bit of an option with both bat and ball. So I
Yep.
kind of understand.
So your spinners are Nabi, as you said, Nabi, Rashid, Mujib. No place for Noor. Why are they not playing Noor? Because you could have easily kept him in place of, Gulbadin Naib. I mean, honestly, let me just be very clear about it. I mean, if Rahmanullah Gurbaz is not keeping wickets, then Ikram Ali Keel, he is your wicket-keeper batsman in Afghanistan. But Noor, you have to get him. He's the X factor.
Yeah, he's very much an X factor. How many Chinaman bowlers do you know who in the world right now who are operating at that top level? There's very few.
Yep.
And he's definitely someone who's proven that he can handle pressure. He's very deceptive in terms of his variations. Hard to pick, hard to get away. I don't understand why they're not keeping him. I understand Mujib has done very well in international level and in fact in leagues around the world. I think IPL is really the only place where he's struggled.
he's struggled, yep.
But he's done well everywhere. He's done well for Afghanistan, even in international cricket. So I understand you need to keep him, but maybe you can reduce your reliance on Nabi a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe he can be that 4-5 over bowler because an off spinner in ODI cricket in today's day and age again doesn't make that much sense that you give him full 10. Maybe they won't. It's quite possible they won't. But you can still go with 4 spinners. It's okay if that's your strength. I mean, look at Pakistan. They note for a fact that their strength is their pace bowlers.
Yep.
So regardless of conditions, their 3 fast bowlers play.
Yep, and we also have the Bangladesh playing 11. You
fine.
have Mohammad Naeem, you have Mehdi Hassan Miraz.
He's opening.
No, I'm just saying
just
it in
reading
a
the- okay,
random
okay.
order in which it's been put out.
Got
So that is why. But then I'll read it according to the batting order now. It's now come. Mohammad Naeem, Najmul Hussain Shanto, Shakib Al Hassan, Tawhid Hridoy, Shamim Hussain, who's making his ODI debut. Remember, he's already played 6 T20Is. prior
But
to
only
this.
T20, yes?
Yeah. Mushfiqur Rahim, Afif Hussain. Remember, he can also be your finisher.
Afif, they made so many changes.
Yeah, 3 changes, no?
My God.
Afif is in because they want the finishing touch in their batting lineup. So that is the thing. Afif Hussain, Mehdi Hassan Miraz, the guy who troubled us who troubled India in the
Yeah.
ODI series.
In fact, even in the test, he did reasonably well with the
He got
ball.
rid of Kohli. And he and Taijul really troubled Kohli a lot.
Yeah, right.
Then you've got Taskin, you've got Shariful, and you've got Hassan Mahmood.
Oh, that's a very different team here.
Yeah.
They've
I can
really-
only recognize Shakib Mushfiqur, Afif, and Mehdi. That's it. And also Tashkin, because he's been there
Tuscan's been around
for about 9-10 years. He's been in the Bangladesh setup. So I can only recognize these players. The others are all very new players. Nazmul Hossain, he's been touted as a good player, but
Nazmul Hussain Shanto in the last match scored a good 89. So
yes, he was the only Bangladesh
batter who actually emerged with some credibility after that match.
So we have a lot of changes in the Bangladesh team. We did not have, and there's no Mustafizur.
Exactly.
I think either
No, but
he's injured
even with that, maybe it was a form thing also. His form hasn't been that great recently.
yeah, so that is why. So let us take some questions. Akash Bharadwaj Singh, sir, everyone is saying India versus Pakistan, but don't count Sri Lanka out, the second best Asia team after India. I mean, I hope that happens.
Yeah, but in ODIs, they can sometimes be a little this thing. And don't forget, they have a lot of injuries right now.
Sri Lanka are currently amidst their best winning streak ever in ODIs. They won 11 consecutive.
True.
Which never happened even in the peak of the Jayasurya, Sangakkara, Mahela Jayawardene era. So that is why I am saying it is going to be a big problem. Sri Lanka can upset the apple cart, and I really hope that it happens. But
I would have put that down to them, but I think they
injuries.
have too many injuries. That's the problem.
And you don't have Wanindu, you don't have
half your pace bowling lineup right now is injured. It's a shame.
Yep.
And of course, Wanindu also not being there doesn't help. I think he was in a good patch.
Shamira is also not in, so that's
what
why.
no. And I want them to do well. Sri Lanka, one of those teams who I think all of us have a soft spot for to some degree, but this time around is very difficult. If they can do it, I mean, we'd all be,
Okay. Cricket is religion, sir. I have to take this. Sorry, I don't know why it's keeping on rotating. Team India experiment entire year, and at end play, same old players. With 5-10 matches, they decide to leave. Sanju is not justice.
But I mean, that's a whole different matter, and please let
Today,
it go.
in the dugout, we are going to highlight all those problems at 7 p.m. IST. Join us for that. What are the problems for Team India heading into the World Cup? And it's like, if I have to just give you a preview of what I'm going to say, it's like you've got only two hands, but you're trying to plug 7-8 leaks. One you stop, it leaks from the other. That's how problematic your situation is. And Anshu Mishra is like really telling AB de Villiers smashed 28 runs against Rashid Khan and peak Stain. Even Stain admit ABD's toughest batsman to bowl to. I agree.
Why are we?
Because I told you that ABD had a slight weakness
But
against.
He did sometimes struggle against
Yeah.
spinners.
I
That
mean,
doesn't
come
take away
on.
from his greatness.
See, 2016, he's a great, but 2016, AB de Villiers getting out to Bipul Sharma. How do you
Bipul
explain
Sharma,
that?
exactly.
Left armour. How do you explain in that game against England in 2016? Who did he get out to? Adil Rashid.
Correct.
So that is why. And
Mr.
Fact
Fact
is
has
saying,
a very interesting
yeah.
question, saying that why is it that Naveen doesn't play ODIs? Because silly, they already have enough spinners. But my jokes aside, I think he's pulled himself out of contention for ODIs.
Yep.
I think he himself doesn't like playing too much ODI cricket.
Injuries also.
Yeah, he's had a few injury problems, so he tends to save himself more for T20s.
Yeah, so that is why, I mean, Naveen Haq, I think he's restricted to only, I mean, if Afghanistan qualify, if maybe they play India, they may want to get in Naveen Haq for the Virat Kohli fact.
But I doubt, will they even call him up at this point? I doubt. He doesn't seem to be available for ODIs.
I'm also joking. They will not call that. I think they have looked well past Naveen Haq. It's been close to 2 to 3 years ever since
He played his last ODI, yeah.
So that's why I think they are now focused on this core group.
Which is and even for the Pacers, it's not like they don't have options. They just prefer kind of, building their team around spinners, which is totally fair.
Well, you can see VK versus Naveen, Mr. Fact, if they play in the World T20. Nothing more, nothing less.
Before that you'll have the IPL.
Yeah, I mean, but we don't know whether Naveen will be picked for all the games.
For the IPL?
Yeah.
Oh, he might be. Why wouldn't he be?
Yeah, maybe.
Look, he's Gautam Gambhir has come out publicly and said he's one of his favorite players in this point.
Sarath Chandra Yalamarthi is like really angry with us. He says, why are you always highlighting weak points in our team? Yes, our team is in bad position, but like high criticism, not required. We didn't win any trophy, so just enjoy it.
But that's why we highlight, because you haven't won.
We didn't win any trophy, but then joy of winning comes, if you want to enjoy, you have to win some trophies. We are not critical of the fact, okay, you didn't win trophies. India is the best team. You are not going to, I'm telling you, win everything. Even the great teams never won all the trophies, they never swept it.
Yeah.
But India are losing out of the mistakes that they themselves created for 10 years. I mean, when did you hear any captain saying that, oh, it is good to lose at some times? Isn't it? We have come to that thing now. Now, if that is enjoyment, I am sorry that it is a big problem that we are facing. Criticism is there because it is right out in the open. It is like that only. So that's why I'm sorry. We don't go overboard in the criticism, but we don't go overboard in flattery also.
Yeah, I mean, our job is to eventually, analyze, and that's pretty much what we're doing. We'll take one last question from Akash. He's saying,
Akash. Okay, Anshu, thank you so much for the compliment. Yeah, Akash's prediction is England and Australia doing a clean sweep
Most likely.
today. But remember, England have one more T20I.
yeah, so actually, England can't do a clean sweep. They've only played one game so far, no? Oh, they played two.
They won by 7 wickets in the first, and they won by 95 runs with the new sensation, Gus Atkinson, taking 4 wickets.
By the way, Atkinson, we keep talking about them not having, like, I remember in 2019, they had this pace twins in Archer and Wood. Considering they only have Wood right now, and if Atkinson does well, England have shown that they're not averse to fast-tracking players like that.
2 players they would want to fast track. Gus Atkinson is in the preliminary squad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I say I mean fast track him into the 11.
11,
Don't
it could
forget,
happen.
last year, before the World Cup. No. Archer was a given. Archer was already a world-class performer. Harry Brook. Out of nowhere, played a few good knocks against Pakistan, and they took him in place of Reece Topley.
Yep.
What an inspired decision it turned out to be.
And you may soon see Harry Brook back, because remember,
Yeah, they're having second thoughts now, the English team.
Mr. Fact, should we worry about Gill's form? I did a video yesterday.
We
you
should.
can check that out. And we and Nikhil also said in the rain break, we have to be worried about it. So that is why. So that is about it.
Well,
folks.
let's just make a couple of predictions.
Yeah.
Let's see what we think the scores would be like. You go first.
Since Bangladesh are batting, right? I would look at 270. I'll say Afghanistan win.
I think Bangladesh get 245 and Afghanistan win.
Nothing against Bangladesh, but
No, but I do think Afghanistan have that edge.
Yeah.
Something. And I think if their openers go big, then
especially because Gurbaz, I think, could be the X factor. Great, Bangladesh will, they very well could. But I think Afghanistan look a bit stronger.
yeah, just a little bit.
Especially in the bowling. Batting, it's very
Batting
dodgy.
is very, very dodgy both sides because Afghanistan only have openers. And Bangladesh maybe only have a little bit in the middle order.
Shakib and Mushfiqur.
They're really missing
Litton, yes. And also, to a certain Anamul Haq Bijoy.
Oh, yes.
Because he also would provide that solidity. So that's why, Dex, no, I don't speak Konkani. I can't. I know only few languages. I can speak Gujarati a bit though. I can understand Gujarati. So that's about it. So from me and Shane here, it's bye-bye. And we'll be back for the mid-innings. But don't worry, we have got you covered with a lot of sporting action that will come up. Hockey, football. Today is a very historic football game that's about to
I'll be
happen.
previewing that in a few minutes.
Yep, indeed. So from me and Shane here, it's bye-bye.